Hey guys, how you doing? We're back again, JayMattFitness. I told you guys that I'd make a video on what we're going to do for food and how we go about eating. Let's start off with Jaymie and a couple of stats. So we got a back picture here, a side profile, and a front picture. So she starts off at 5'2", and she is 100 and some odd pounds. For my own health and reasons, I decided to leave that out of it. We will document how many pounds she loses throughout the process, and then we'll reveal the before and after weights at the end. She was a little more comfortable with that, so we decided to do it that way. Next up we have me. Let's see what we got here. This is my back shot, my side profile, a little belly on me, and my front. As you can see, I'm a little softer than I was. So my before stats, I am 5'11", and I am currently 196 pounds. My goals, similar to Jaymie's, are to get a little leaner. However, the process in which I'm going to do it will be for a shorter duration and probably a little more aggressive. This is going to be really basic, not scientific at all. The point of this video is to give you the basics that you need in order to create a diet that'll work for you, whether your goal is to gain muscle mass or your goal is to lose body fat. So a little bit of math before we keep going, and a bit of nutrient basics. These are things you're going to have to know if you get into creating your own diets. There's 3 different things that we have to get from food in order to grow, repair, and maintain our body. These 3 macronutrients are proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. For the proteins, we have meat, fish, dairy, legumes, anything with a parent. Proteins typically used primarily for muscle repair and rejuvenation. After that, we have carbohydrates. Carbs can be broken down into 2 basic types. You have your simple carbs that are, things like cakes, cookies, cola, juice, syrups, simple sugars, and that kind of thing. Or we have complex carbs, potatoes, rice, pasta, bread, grain, different cereals. And then there's also their fibrous counterparts, primarily vegetables, ideally leafy greens, along with fresh and frozen fruit. They're great thrown into smoothies for extra vitamins and minerals. And lastly, we have fat. Fat is our secondary energy source. It's also used to lubricate our joints, keep our hair and nails from becoming brittle, and it's very important in testosterone and estrogen production balance. A proper hormone profile requires a balanced diet with enough fat in it as well. So now we got to figure out where we start. You have to calculate what's called your TDEE. Your TDEE, or total daily energy expenditure, quantifies the number of calories that you burn in a day. For Jaymie's case, her TDEE is 2,000 calories. That means that she needs to eat 2,000 calories a day to maintain her current body weight. So if Jaymie wants to lose weight, then what I typically recommend is to subtract 20% of your TDEE to lose weight, which would be 1,600 calories in Jaymie's case. Or if you want to grow and put muscle mass on, I typically eat 20% more. So in her case, that'd be 2,400 calories. A little food math before we begin. These aren't hard concepts to grasp, but they're really important. Each gram of protein, has 4 calories. And likewise, each gram of carbohydrate has 4 calories. Now, each gram of fat has a whopping 9 calories per gram. So that's a little over double, or about 225% more. And these numbers will come in handy later. Okay, so now Jaymie's TDEE is 2,000, and her goal is to get leaner. So she therefore needs to burn less than that. So as I was mentioning, if we take 2,000 and we multiply that by 0.20, that equals 400. So there's 400 calories that we've removed. We are then left with 1,600 calories total to lose fat. That's where I typically would start. Most people around 1,600 calories. So from here, what we want to do is find out her protein requirements. Now, Jaymie carries 120 pounds of lean mass. Everything else over that is made up of body fat, bones, tissue, etc. So I go with 1 gram of protein per lean pound of mass. In Jaymie's case, that's 120 grams of protein, and that's what I like to start with. The next macro out of the two that I typically calculate is fat. Now that now that we have our protein set up, a good starting point for most people is to make 25% of the calories in fat. So if we have 1,600 calories to play with, a quarter of that, or 25%, is 400 calories. Now remember before I said that there are 9 calories per gram of fat, so we have to divide 400 by 9, which gives us 44.444444, or we can just round it up to 45. So now we have 120 grams of protein, and if we multiply that by 4, because there's 4 calories per gram, we get a total of 480 calories. So we have 480 calories of protein and 400 calories of fat, and together that makes 880 calories total. So we started with 1,600 calories as our goal, and if we subtract the 880 calories that are made up of the protein and fat, that leaves us with 700 calories left, and that is what we use for our carbs. So to figure out how many grams that is, all you have to do is divide it by 4, because there's 4 calories per gram, and you get 180 grams of carbs. So now we're done. We have all of our numbers. We would go with 1,600 calories, made up of 120 grams of protein, 180 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of fat a day. And if you take 120 times 4, 180 times 4, 45 times 9, and you add all of those up, you'll get 1,600 calories. So that seemed decent to me, but considering we're going to do this for 8 months, I figured, it's a little aggressive. I don't want to hit a wall, so I call up my buddy Jaymie and see what's up with her. Amy's a Beachbody coach, and she typically works out with females. If you want to, if you're looking for a solid workout, whether it's at the gym or at home, and you want to get a workout in, check her out. This is her link below. The best way to get a hold of her is on Facebook. Just go to this link, fire her a message, she'll set you up. Super awesome person, and she really knows what's up. So I was talking to Amy, and she suggested breaking it down into 4 2-month chunks. So the first 2 months we're going to do 1,750 calories. We're going to use 150 grams of protein, 45 grams of fat, and 185 grams of carbs. So a little more protein, the fat's the same, and just a shade more carbs. Higher protein will, keep her full, and I think it'll work well. The next 3 and 4 months, we're going to shave 100 calories off. So we'll go to 1,650 calories. That'll be 150 protein, 45 fat, and 136 carbs. So we're just going to remove some carbs in months 3 and 4. 5 and 6 come up, and we're going to scale it down to 1,500 calories. At this point, I suspect that Jaymie will likely have lost quite a bit of fat. 1,500 calories should be plenty. We're going to bring the protein down to 130 grams, which should be fine. We'll have 45 grams of fat, which won't change, and 135 grams of carbs, so 1 gram less. It's negligible. It's not that big a deal. For the last stretch in the 7 to 8 months home, we'll bring it right down to 1,300 calories, made up of 130 grams of protein again, 40 grams of fat, so we'll take 5 grams away, and we'll have 105 grams of carbs left. So that's the plan, and that's what we're going to do for Jaymie. I think what I'm going to do is close the video off here, and the next video I'm going to explain my own numbers and what I plan on doing. It's a little different. I don't have the goal of losing as much body fat. My goal is to trim off a little bit, so a little more aggressive, and I think it's going to work out well for me. And after, we'll say 2 months or so of dieting down, I'm going to shift gears and, put some mass on. So there you have it, guys. That's what we got so far. Stay tuned for the next video.